It's Spoilerin time. This is a show made possible by another show we do called Cordkillers. On Cordkillers, we figure out how to watch TV shows. On this show, we talk about the TV shows we watched. And of course, you're going to talk about TV shows, you got to spoil them. This week, Brian Brushwood and myself, Tom Merritt, will talk about Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, Episode 6 of Season 2, Counterpart Season 2, Episode 6, The Good Place, 312, Season 3, Episode 12. Brian, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, not as fun as rubbing my impending failure in my face when it comes to the winter movie draft.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
this is my 1 week.
Hold on. Why don't we have numbers for Glass?
Because they're still
counting all the dollars.
Yeah, we rely on Box Office Mojo's API, which only has provisional numbers right now. So because as we're recording this on Monday, we don't have final numbers. Although it looks like
Glass usually have numbers by now, though.
I agree. And in fact, if you go to Box Office Mojo, they say that it's an estimated 48 or 49 million.
Controversy?
No, just 47 million.
I'm trying to give you some kind of hope here.
No, there's no hope. I mean, it's made a decent chunk of change. John Trekker is at 540. This 50 million is going to take them into first place, and they still have another movie, Serenity, about to come out. So.
If it's even close by a couple million, Serenity will move them up. And the second weekend of Glass will probably move them up. So
congratulations, Team John Trekker. And congratulations to me for validating my strategy of just always bidding $1 more than John Trekker the entire game through.
This is the best part about this. You had the strategy of bidding $1 more than John Trekker and are going to come in second place to John Trekker.
Yeah.
I had the strategy of always outbidding John Trekker unless you outbid John Trekker. And I'm going to come in third place.
Look, man, it's going to be a constantly shifting service. We'll figure it out.
If you want to win, be John Trekker. But if you want to come in second or third, check out Brian and Tom's strategies. They're going to bring you into place or show.
Yeah, pretty good. So how much has Spider-Man pulled in at this point?
Into the Spider-Verse has pulled in $160,751,000, pulling it right upside Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, no, that's good that it's continuing to deliver the goods.
Fallen off a cliff, even though it started out slow. It's pulling in with some decent numbers.
The number 6 buy of the entire draft.
Dr. Seuss's The Grinch is the number 3 buy of the entire draft at $270 million. So that helped me.
So again, I guess at this point, has the commissioner put together a provisional list of upcoming summer draft movies?
I don't know. I could lean my head out the hallway and yell and ask, but as far as I know, she hasn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably not.
Aquaman was best buy of the draft.
Joshua David wants to know who's John Trekker. That's the team of Brett the Amtrekker Rounceville and John Teasdale, who have a nasty history of just crushing it at this game. So we're happy when they lose.
Yeah, we got to figure out. Okay, if always bidding $1 more than John Trekker still had them win, should you always bid $1? I mean, what's the solution to that? I mean, to draft off them and still win.
The trick is to have like a Judas destroyer or whatever, because it's a random draw. Like at some point you get to a level where it's like you work out secret alliances for somebody who's full on willing to torpedo their chances to win in exchange for making sure that John Trekker doesn't. Got it. So collusion. Some might say that's part of the game.
There's no rule against it, as far as we know.
That might be one of my favorite things about the MMO EVE Online was like there have been full-on Ponzi schemes that have destroyed hundreds of thousands of dollars of real-world money, and their response is, it's literally the way the game works, is about betraying and lying to people.
Yeah. We got an email from Norm, and on Cordkillers, I said, on Spoilerin Time, we talked about Larry Sanders' show being our next library watch, and Bryce rightly pointed out that was in the after talk, not on Spoilerin Time. So listen to the after talk, because you get things that I can't even remember where we talked about them that you don't hear anywhere else. It's available to patrons, patreon.com/Cordkillers. But Norm's pitch is, what about the British version of The Office?
That would be really fascinating, especially as I get to the end of my watch through of the American version of The Office. I'd be down for that as, because what is it?
Short. It's only
it's only 12 episodes.
12 episodes, yeah.
Well,
it's the longest running British series ever at 7 episodes.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, Brian and I will debate that in the after talk. But Norm, you've got a runner. You got a contender there. Good suggestion. All right, let's talk about The Good Place. We're just, I guess, Bryce, we're just one episode away from the finale. Is that right?
Penultimate episode of the season.
Yeah, so they did it, Brian. At least from where I sit, I was like, I don't know where they're going to go with this. And I'm sure they're going to go somewhere. And where they're going to go is recreating the town for people who shouldn't be in The Good Place with a new cast, but the old cast sticks around and helps.
Well, and it's brilliant because it has our favorite people, but now everybody's on the inside, and the things that they must not do, because again, they have not died. They still have not died in this timeline, right? They are living individuals.
I think they made a point of saying that they died.
Oh, that's right. When they went to Janet's world. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, they can't go back to Earth.
But they do have a contiguous stream of conscious memories, right? And it really would be a tragedy to see those let go of. And so this is a good way. Now we get to see them acting, and now they're being so. In the beginning, we saw Michael trying to put himself into the mind of the mortals. Now we get to see the mortals try to put themselves in the mind of Michael, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'm in for another season of that.
Yeah, I mean, there is one option that you can do when you're stuck with the plot, which is go back and redo something you did before. But that way usually lies peril, because everyone's going to say, they're just rehashing what we did before. So what they're doing that's so genius is, but we did that. They already did it once, right? They're like, but we're going to wipe the memories of everybody. So they have to go through it, over and over and over and over again. And they did it really fast over a couple of episodes. So this time they're going to say, what if we brought you a whole new cast to go through the same thing as the beginning, so it won't be the same? To which you say, but I love Tahani and Chidi and Jason and Eleanor. Why would you get rid of them? The answer is they're not. So it hits all the cylinders for me. I'm 100% in.
Yeah, which of course now all I want to do is know about the characters, right? Where it's like, are they going to be the same 4 archetypes, and are they going to figure out something about themselves as they have to encourage? Like is Tahani only going to go nuts when she encounters somebody very Tahani-like? I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think?
Yeah, and the philosophical aspect of this, which is, what if they don't like the people that they're trying to prove should belong in The Good Place? Like, is Eleanor going to want to undermine people because she's like, this person is so basic. They belong in the bad place.
You know what I think that they set up at the end of this episode for is, right? They're setting up for, if you were going to do this, the end of that last episode is exactly how you would have done this, is to make Eleanor be in the Michael role, in the architect role.
Oh, and they certainly kind of set that up when he has his panic attack, right?
And so I do think that's certainly what the next episode is going to be, right? Eleanor sort of lying her way through and putting her in an unstickable, because I mean, she makes a whole deal out of like, oh, now we can just have a boring, living with Chidi life. And that's not good television.
Yeah. Dude, Movie Draft Champ, I think, nails it, saying they're going to know them from Earth. They're going to be exes and enemies of the 4 of them.
I would hate that.
I think that would be deeply unpleasant and really interesting. So that seems like a good writing trope.
Yep. Even if it's not personally known, like it might be someone Tahani always hated and didn't even know personally because she couldn't get to know them, or I don't know. Yeah, you can go so many different ways with that. I mean, that feels right.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm with CRBC Killer. I wouldn't mind seeing Pillboy again, just like for whatever reason, bring him back.
Or Donkey Doug. What if Donkey Doug?
Donkey Dad.
All right. Let's. Anything else about The Good Place?
No, it's great. It's always great.
Yeah, always love a trip to the IHOP. Let's talk about Counterpart, which was an episode that I've been longing for, which is the origin story and getting to see the moment the world split and how people react to discovering it, and also throwing in for bonus how the people on the 4th floor started to be in charge of it and why they're in charge of it. And it was entirely a flashback episode.
Yeah, it was fine.
You didn't like it, huh?
No, I loved that they did it. You know me, in general, whenever there's a possibility for a surprise, I would love to have one. But absent that, if you're going to deliver a surpriseless episode, felt a little bit like the prequels, right? Where it's just like, hey, everything that you pretty much figured out about time before, yeah, that's what happened. And then
I still, and I know this isn't as big of a hit for you, but I just love seeing origin moments. I love seeing the moment when the building becomes two buildings, and I love the way they played the two creators acting exactly the same, right? Until one of them picks up the light when the other doesn't, and you realize like, these universes were carrying on in exactly the same way, exactly the same determinism until that point. And then emphasizing it with, one of them deciding to destroy the cassette, and the other one girl gets Alphaville and the other doesn't. And of course that ties in to the reason for the murder later. And that's what really causes the problems and turns this into a security nightmare. And the question of whether humans can actually, live with the fact that there's another world, or whether these doors should be closed forever, which of course explains why there's a movement to close the doors forever. And it tied all of that nicely together for me. There wasn't any surprise for me, for sure. I agree with you there, except for some reason I thought this started after the wall fell, but apparently it started a couple of years before.
Yeah, well, I think they haven't really talked about it one way or the other, just because.
Well, they show the wall falling while they're all sitting down there.
But specifically,
you mean prior to this?
Correct. Prior to this, I don't think they've, because it is a bit on the nose that you have two parallel realities separated by one wall.
I liked the idea that it started after the wall falling for that reason. Like the wall fell, and then we get, while Germany's uniting, we get the entire world splitting. Whereas now it's like, before the wall fell, we had this split, and then the wall fell it was a thing that happened over in the corner, and we were too busy dealing with this split. Like, I don't know, it played weird for me. That was one thing that disappointed me.
Yeah, I don't mind, for the sake of brevity, them skipping all this stuff, but I feel like, this is my headcanon, these two individuals, after figuring out that they're the same person, would have worked together to have some moment to decide to do one thing different and flipping it. Like the mere fact, like that moment of, okay, well, we both got this tape, and one of us will deliver it, the other will not. The fact that one person took the initiative to smash the tape and announced it, like that alone, I'm like, well, this sort of invalidates the whole argument, because now one of you clearly is already different from the other.
Yeah,
because now dramatically it's like, oh, why did you do that? And
it wasn't the smashing of the tape. It was the decision to smash the tape.
Right. I would have liked a little bit of a, hey, I think we both know what we have to do here. And like,
are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, let's
but which one of us?
Let's flip a coin. Right.
But what if the coins go? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
I think that's what I was hungry for. But again, I understand, it wasn't a big deal either way.
Also, the rat scene left me a little cold. I was like, oh, so this is showing what he fears humanity will end up doing. The rats are going to eat each other. And like, really? Why would they do that? I don't get why they would.
I do like that our glimpse of management, the only glimpse we've seen of them have been as starry-eyed optimists, and we know they're going into hiding, and we know they're going to be the pullers of the strings between the two worlds. But we haven't seen them totally corrupted and ugly yet. Although it was obviously a very significant moment when one of them held out the hand and the other one ignored it, and so on.
That was the beginning of that seed of suspicion being planted. Yeah.
It reminds me of the Arthur C. Clarke quote. There are only two possibilities: either there are aliens or they're not. Either one is equally horrifying. Like, I like the fact that, we've met the enemy and the enemy is us, and like there is no way there's no outcome where we don't end up fighting wherever there is asymmetry, there seems to be fighting. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. I don't mean to jump back. Well, I do, because I'm going to jump back, but I'm going to jump back, and I feel like we've summed this episode up a little bit, but I want to add something to my my discomfort with the wall not being down at the beginning, because as I was thinking about it, this thought formed in my head. I think what was nagging at me was the whole premise is he's going to try to get out of East Berlin, and the U.S. Spy is helping him, and he decides not to because of this weird experiment. So why isn't there? He can just occupy an entire building, and the repressive East German government is fine with that. But otherwise, things were so oppressive that he had to leave, and he had a son who is advocating against socialism. Like, something about the fact that he was able to just run that whole building on his own didn't mesh for me with the idea that this was an oppressive state that controls
or that he was powerless, or that he had anything to run from. Like 100% on that. Like I guess there's no in East Germany, I don't normally think of unchecked autonomy as something that many people get to enjoy, and yet that's the way they acted. He had.
If you did, it would be because you were a favorite of the party. Right?
In which case, you probably wouldn't be insisting on getting the hell out of East Germany to go to America or what have you.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a read on that I'm not getting. So send it to us, cordkillers@gmail.com. Anything else on Counterpart?
No. I think we knew that we needed this at some point. It was satisfying enough. I dug it. I will. Let me just double down on what a rich visual treat this show is. Like just the composition, the set design, the cinematography, the quality of it's a weird thing to focus on. Like, everybody is gorgeous to look at. It's great. I really adore everything about the visual language they're speaking on this show.
Yeah, just one tiny thing I noticed. It's not even significant, but it's the kind of thing you're talking about. When they're showing you the environment that he's working in the building at the very beginning, they pan past two black coat hooks on a white tiled wall that, if you didn't pay close attention, mirror exactly the two Go pieces on the white tile board in the credits of the opening.
They're really, really good with I don't want to say like even subtly, but reinforcing those themes. And that's what's so great about that title sequence is both, Go implies, two equally skilled masters trying to outflank each other. And then you see the Go pieces transform into the dot matrix printouts on stuff, which is reminiscent of the flash frozen late 80s technology between the two cultures. I mean, there's so much visual language that is being spoken so very well in this show.
All right, let's finish up with Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, episode 14, or episode 6 of season 2, Girl Power. We get a hospital fight. We get Amanda hunkering down, and we very much at the end find the portal to Windamore.
It's just adorable. It's the most I've loved this show the entire way up until this point. Sad that we haven't yet found out what Sherlock's up to. Loved the connection with Bart. Is that her name? There's been a lot of people parked on the sidelines that are finally jumping into the fray, and it only makes me super sad to know that we're never going to know what happens because this thing's going to end. And that's that.
Well, I think we wrap up this season, don't we? I mean,
sure. But like only now, like think about, we've spent the dude that was in the cab with the dog.
Yeah, right.
He's finally interesting as he has power and autonomy, and then he very quickly steps into the role of like, okay, everybody's incompetent. If this is what we're going to do, this is interesting enough to me that I want to make this happen. And he starts making the calls with the priest.
And priest is like, oh, good, we can finally have somebody who makes calls.
Right. And then and I'm sure like next season there could be a really interesting thing of him and Bart like playing against each other, and they're like, wait, I thought we were friends, and I don't even mind that they still haven't explained how Wendemore came to be to my satisfaction, just that it exists and it's a magical realm. Don't care. Could watch the entire thing just in Wendemore from now on.
I do feel like we're going to get an explanation, and it may or may not be good to get an explanation because they keep saying, "Oh, Wendemore, it shouldn't exist," right? And so that implies like, so we're going to find out why it does at some point. But
what a wonderful twist too. Think about of how much has changed of our opinion of the Rowdy Three. Now that they're just straight up. They're just straight up sworn lieutenants of Amanda, and I love it. And I love them because they clearly will do anything for her now. And I think what an amazing twist for all of that. I thought that was great.
When the Rowdy Three first show up, you think what I thought was, okay, these are punks. I'm supposed to scare them. I'm supposed to be scared of them. But I bet, like most punks, they have a code. I can't wait to find out what it is. And then a couple episodes later, you find out what it is because they help Amanda. And you think, okay, I don't approve of their methods, but I guess, they helped Amanda. So, okay, I'll give them a pass. And now that we're in Wendemore, it's like, oh, these guys are awesome. I want them on my side. Like, they're buddies. They will do anything for their pals.
And there's this moment when she's like, well, we got to get out of here. And they're like, no, you don't. You're clearly in the middle of Empire Strikes Back and you're trading with Yoda. So it's our job to have your back. And then like
got you.
I felt this wave of like, oh, you guys are the best.
Yeah. That was amazing. All right. Well, folks, we will keep watching Dirk Gently through its conclusion. But if you want to find out what we're going to decide to watch afterwards, you can listen in on those conversations in the aftertalk at patreon.com/Cordkillers. We'll talk to you next time.
Wait, reminder. This week, it really matters. We want to make magic happen for a super fan and super talented person, Stephen Cogswell. The album is called All's Well, a Night Attack album. It's on Google Play. It's on iTunes. It's on Amazon. We've priced it at the minimum legal price that we can do so that you can buy it for yourself, for your friends on any platform you want. Man, oh man, let's get this guy a #1 comedy album because if you have enjoyed him showing up for 160, 70 episodes in a row, making up original music for every episode of Night Attack. Why don't we do something really great for him? How about that?
Do it, folks. Talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.